By order of King Regna, Serenoa escorts their esteemed guests back home, beyond the forest and over the mountains to a vast, sand-swept land. Before long, a grand wall of stone rises before them. Known as the Goddess's Shield, behind it lies the source, Nozelia's only supply of salt. Upon the lake shores of the source towers a giant likeness of the goddess, ever watching over the flourishing city and the palace below. This is the holy state of Hyzante.
I regret my decision to come here. I should have gone to the frozen place. Whatever.
I had heard tales of the goddess's shield, but its grandeur surpasses even my imagination.
It protected the holy state from both Glenbrook and Esfrost during the war. None in history have succeeded in breaching it. Do you think you might fare better, Lord Serenoa?
I think penetrating these walls would be nigh impossible.
A most courteous answer. I should have expected as much.
What's that sound?
Could this be?
Is this the hour of worship I've heard so much about?
Indeed. Hyzantians offer their prayers up to the goddess's statue every day. They thank her for her blessing, for bestowing us with the source, from which all Norzalia's salt is harvested.
To see every citizen pray is astonishing.
The goddess truly is at the center of all Hyzante, just as the stories say.
Even so, are there none who'd use this time of worship to rob their fellow citizens?
There are none so misguided among the goddess's believers.
All Hyzantians are guaranteed food, clothing, and shelter. The holy state has done everything in its power to eliminate poverty and ensure equality. As a result, no one envies others or craves riches for selfish reasons.
Certainly, if everyone were equal, there would be naught to fight about.
But achieving absolute equality is impossible.
The words of an unbeliever. The goddess showers her blessings fairly upon all who follow her teachings.
Before we visit the Hierophant, there is one thing I must tell you about Lady Frederica.
Under normal circumstances, the head of our nation would not permit an audience with one of Rosellan extract. We have explained the circumstances, however, and she has been granted special permission to enter the palace as an envoy.
That said, we would ask that Lady Frederica remain silent before the Holy One.
Silent? Why?
I reiterate that typically, she would not be so much as allowed to attend. We ask for your understanding of our creed.
You mean to treat one of Glenbrook's delegates as if she weren't even there?
Prince Roland, you are here in secret. It would not do for you to gainsay another nation's religious creed. I have no objections.
My apologies.
You needn't apologize. Let us do what we came here for.
We appreciate your understanding. Now then, let us show you to the palace.
That is where the Hierophant resides.
The Hierophant imparts us with the goddess's divine messages. None are allowed to look upon the Holy One's face, none save Minister Edor, who conveys their divine words to us.
Pardon our intrusion. Lord Serenoa Wolford of Glenbrook has escorted us home on behalf of King Regna.
The Hierophant speaks to you. Serenoa Wolford, we thank you for your gracious gesture. We are overjoyed and humbled that you have chosen to grace our nation with your presence.
I am unworthy of such high praise, but honored nonetheless.
House Wolford and Hyzante have shared a deep bond ever since the Sultan War. On behalf of the Saintly Seven, it is my wish that our friendship will be as strong as it was with your Lord Father.
But of course, I strive to one day measure up to his greatness.
You will also, in time, succeed Lord Simon as advisor to the mining venture, I hear. The Hierophant would hear your true thoughts on the endeavor.
Man, I'm now wishing that I went to S. Frost instead, but this is probably a good picture to be building here. I'm kind of in the same boat as Benedict, I feel like. Feeling a little bit sketched out here, like, how do you achieve, like, true equality, 100%, completely 100% true equality between every single person? How do you do that? And the other dude was just playing it off like, the words of a non-believer! How dare you! Yada yada, stuff like that, and then being very indoctrinated in their ways. I'm very sketched out by this place myself, and especially considering this is a religion in a JRPG. That already is in a story is something that sets off red flags to be sketched out about. So I mean, anyway, let's see here. I think it a significant stepping stone toward peace between the three nations. I think it a valuable endeavor that will fairly profit everyone. I fear the intentions of the three nations are not aligned. I sense a storm is brewing on the horizon. The stepping stone for peace. Yeah, great.
I think it a significant stepping stone toward peace between the three nations.
A safe reply, to say the least, Lord Serenoa.
It is an ideal that I can only hope is shared by all those involved.
If I might ask, what is the ideal to which one aspires?
Thanks, capture card, for bugging out right at that moment.
Share the goddess's blessing with all of Norzelia. The Holy One wishes for a world where people are equal. The goddess always watches over those who believe in her. May you all receive her divine protection.
I apologize for visiting you in secret. There's something I must ask you. I have heard that the people of Hyzante live in equality. They say the goddess showers blessings upon those who follow her teachings. But is that the only reason?
Oh, a studious one you are, Prince Roland. King Regna has raised you well. Of course, the goddess's teachings are at the core of the equality our citizens enjoy. But there are many measures taken by the Holy State to ensure the happiness of our people.
Minister Lila's Ministry of Medicine, which dedicates itself to the study of preserving life, is another example of this. The results of their research have allowed many people to overcome illness and injury and live long, healthy lives.
Fascinating. I would like to hear more about Hyzante's medical discoveries.
I see we managed to pique your interest. Minister Lila, I leave our guests in your capable hands. Pray, show them around the ministry and let them admire Hyzante's pursuit of life and magic.
Well, we're back on the overworld again, just so that, you know, it gives you some breathing room. Dang, I didn't mean to press A already. My thumb hit it by accident. I was about to say some breathing room to save and stuff. Well, whatever.
Look, a Rosellan. I heard she's an envoy from Glenbrook.
Be that as it may, is her kind even allowed to enter our halls?
I can only assume she received special permission, since Minister Lila's showing her around.
Ironic, considering the wishes of us researchers are hardly ever granted.
What a splendid facility you have here. I can see why your nation excels in the medical arts.
Normally, only ministry staff are allowed in. Having outsiders view our work is unprecedented.
We cannot thank you enough for your generosity.
If I heard correctly, it sounds like you are researching life itself.
That we are. In order to cure illnesses and injuries, we must set our sights high.
Even illnesses deemed uncurable in other nations?
There is no miracle panacea in this world, but we like to think nothing is impossible.
Wonderful. And would you be willing to share those results with others, should you achieve them?
If you believe in the goddess's teachings, yes. At least, that is what I would expect the Holy One to say.
Minister Lila, the preparations for the experiment are complete.
My apologies, but I must get back to work. You are free to take a look around. However, I ask you to not enter the restricted areas.
Of course, nothing is free in the Ministry, nor anywhere in Hyzante. And of course, when people are forced to adhere to teachings, there are some who will resist.
Who might you be?
Just a researcher, nothing more.
What was his problem?
Saranoa, I could use some fresh air, if you don't mind.
But of course, let us take a break outside.
That researcher wanted us to hear what he was saying under his breath, didn't he? Imply to the envoys that, you know, things are not quite as happy and cheery here as they seem. How are you faring, Frederica? Better than before, thank you. But I should like to rest in the shade for a spell. But of course, rest as long as you like. Though, yeah, I know Mortis has brought it up a decent few times so far throughout this game, but yeah, the way she's treated is, well, it's definitely of very different times. You can certainly say. My goodness. I should take a moment to get to know the city. Okay, some merchants are open for business during the exploration phase and may be selling rare items you'll not find at the provisioner in the encampment. It would be wise to speak with any shopkeepers you meet. Okay, well, we're here. Yeah, that one researcher. He was saying under his breath, like, nothing is truly free, and that when you force everybody to adhere to a certain set of teachings, what? I can do this? Yo, that's crazy! Anyway, when you force everybody to adhere to a certain set of teachings, then there's some who are going to resist. He was saying it under his breath for the envoys to hear. Is what it very clearly seemed like. Wasn't expecting the movement in this game to be something like that. Yeah, so I think that this nation likes to put up a facade of everything is perfect here. Everybody that believes in our teachings, man, everything is absolutely fantastic. All you have to do is believe in our teachings, and why wouldn't you anyway? Yeah, I'm sketched out. Also, with the whole nature of how long cutscenes are in this game, and the whole thing Bob of, like, you know, different leaders talking like that and for extended periods of time, I feel like this game isn't very good for, like, a storytelling perspective so far, but it's very political and very fascinating if you do want to, like, take the time to get invested in that kind of thing. It's a very different experience altogether, is definitely the way that I feel about this game thus far. Also, how many hours in am I now? And, you know, the main plot still hasn't started yet? Because I'm fairly certain from what I've seen from trailers that a war is gonna break out again. Like, that's what's been seen in trailers and stuff, so I imagine something along those lines is gonna happen. So this game really takes its time to show full conversations that would normally happen. Get really political. I don't know, it's interesting. This is a very different video game than I'm used to playing. I always knew that the goddess and her followers looked upon the Roselle with disdain, yet I cannot help but worry for my people. The sins they atone for are not their own. One cannot help but wonder why they must continue to pay for them. This has less to do with the goddess's teachings than it does producing salt. It makes me wonder why the citizens do not labor at the source. I find it difficult to understand why, in this nation that touts equality, the Roselle must suffer such discrimination. Either the first or third answer, I would say there. I haven't done third options a whole lot, yeah. I'm gonna say this one. I find it difficult to understand why, in this nation that touts equality, the Roselle must suffer such discrimination. Why is that? I suppose my ancestors did something so unforgivable that we have yet to earn the goddess's forgiveness. But the Roselle who committed those crimes have long since passed. In House Wolfort, people are judged by their deeds and not by the circumstances of their birth. Huh. So I should be talking to everybody so that I get, like, all the possible voting or convincing options and stuff later, so I have all the information. Everyone in Hyzante knows the goddess's teachings. Obey the teachings and serve your nation, and you shall receive the goddess's blessing. It is not wealth that drives Hyzante, but the faith and happiness of her people. But we cannot ignore wealth's importance in the equation. How has the holy state achieved such balance? It seems idealistic to think a nation can be built on faith alone, and the people are left dissatisfied, will their faith not waver? But what is it that brings the people such happiness? I thought the answer was different for everyone. Yeah. This is a very different video game than I'm used to playing. It had a bit of a slow start. I feel like it might be starting to pick up a little bit. It'll probably start to, like, really pick up when, you know, the main plot starts. But it's getting into, like, fascinating kind of territory, and, like, oh, maybe I am glad I came here rather than Frost after all. Huh. But what is it that brings the people such happiness? I thought the answer was different for everyone. I'll do this one. How about? The answer is simple. Following the teachings. Do so and you shall be blessed by the goddess herself. All who live in Hyzante can see the teachings that come with those blessings. I see. Thank you, Minister. Do the Saintly Seven have the people completely under their thumb? We learned about the Saintly Seven of Hyzante. Interesting. Hey, look, a bot to ban. Boop. There we go, banned. Oh, wow, another one. A double whammy. Ban that one, too. That's what I better do. What, 3 in a row? It's been a while since I've seen 3 in a row. 3 in a row happens a decent bit here and there. I'll turn off the chat briefly, because even though I did ban that one, it's not disappearing on the chat there. for whatever reason. Well, as the game progresses, you can uncover information that will unlock additional responses in future conversations. Okay, so now I know about these 7 here. Interesting. Review the knowledge you've amassed thus far by selecting War Chronicle information from the main menu. This game's fascinating. If nothing else, it's fascinating for sure. This is just between you and me. Not everyone is happy with the Hierophant. Though I honestly don't understand why. Well, I appreciate the information. Hi. Hyzante is a wonderful city. Please enjoy your time here to your heart's content. However, I ask that you not interrupt Mr. Sorsley's work. What's standing in front of this place? And please stay away from the source. One of the interesting notes that I'm realizing here is the source, the place where they get all the salt from, is capital S source, because it's, you know, it's the gift from the goddess. It's this thing associated with a deity, like it's a big thing to be worshipped, and thus the source, which is just a source of a salt mine, is capitalized as the source. As one of the Saintly 7, I manage the production and shipment of salt. That is to say, I single-handedly bear the burden of Hyzante's finances. Single-handedly, huh? And you're touting that everybody here is completely equal in so many ways, and we have one person that's controlling basically all the wealth. I can only imagine I was bestowed with such a venerable position in recognition of my unwavering faith to the goddess. Yep, that's Humpty Dumpty here clearly got that role because of he was just so much more faithful than everybody else. Mr. Sorsley oversees all Hyzante's dealings in salt, foundation of their nation's wealth. It is a crucial job, even among the Saintly 7. Learn about Sorsley's responsibilities. Okay, so yeah, it's good to be talking to everybody, basically. Whoa. Must ask you to turn back. The source is just ahead. We have to turn back. Only those with proper permission can enter. Cerno's convictions have been strengthened. What, for me talking? Patrol around the source is always tight. We cannot pass through here. Imagine, though. So can I, like... Oh, I can't go up there. Whoa, like that way I can. Whoa. Must be nice having freedom to roam about another's nation. Whoa. What do you think, Roland? Goddess's teachings condemn the Roselle back to backbreaking labor at the source to atone for the crimes of their forebears. Oh. Is that what's going on here? I felt like maybe it was mentioned earlier, but maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention or something like that. So are the Roselle essentially like slaves to Hyzante? And Frederica's mother escaped from that, fled to Esfrost, and you know, had the child of Frederica there? Huh. So there's a bunch of Roselle working at the source to atone for the crimes of their forebears. I know it is the way of their nation, and yet it doesn't sit well with me. Pray, take care of Lady Frederica. I've no doubt this weighs heaviest upon her. Is that what's going on here? Is it slave labor? Source? Sorry, I can't say I know much about it. It's a sacred place that a select few are allowed to enter. Would it be better if I do... Yeah, it'd be better if I do this layout for exploration. It seems like... Is there a sparkly thing here? Thought I saw a sparkly thing. Maybe I'm losing my mind. Could the streets really be that safe in a city this wealthy? Wish I could say the same of Glenbrook. Speaking of which, we should get ourselves some souvenirs before we head home. I'm sure your father would be happy to know what you thought of him. Hyzante is a blessed nation, one where everyone lives in peace. But if you happen to see anyone suspicious, be sure to alert the nearest sentry. I thought the head honchos there were touting earlier that nobody has any ill intentions because everybody is equal and happy over here and stuff. Hi. Well, can't you have service today? The provision you can purchase items and accessories and sell unwanted items in your possession. You cannot reap the benefits of accessories simply by purchasing them, so remember to equip them to the ally of your choosing. This can maybe be accomplished on the unit details screen, the inventory menu, or via the prompt that appears after purchasing the accessory. So we're at 2k, sorry, in terms of the funds that we have. So deals fire type damage to a single enemy and sets the ground in place. So these are consumable thingamabobs there. There's a large HP pellets. Let's see here. Renders the selected square flammable. A material required to learn rank 1 weapon abilities. Huh, I'm sure I'll learn more about it as this goes on. When it comes to equipping stuff, Inventory. Accessories. Can I give this here? Oh, okay, so each person can have 2 accessory slots. So this is a clean UI. This is really satisfying looking. And I love the art on the left side there. The kind of thing they've been using since Octopath there. I really like that. So, yeah, HP ring. So we got a little bit more HP there. Increase max HP by 10. Okay, sure. Sure. Yeah, I'm sure I'll learn more about this as it goes on, especially playing on hard mode and such. Have you seen the great big wall around the city? That's called the Goddess's Shield. It protects us and the salt away from any who would do us harm. From the source to the shield and the thriving city between them, I can scarcely decide what has me most impressed. I can only imagine the people feel the same way, judging by the smiles on their faces. Huh. It's rare for foreign dignitaries to be allowed in the ministry. Take your time looking around. Do you wish to enter the Ministry of Medicine? In a second here. Minister Exharm is always thinking of ways to make our nation even greater. He may be young, but he's still a role model to us all. Though it seems he views Minister Sorsley with distaste. I had heard that Minister Exharm was in charge of military and diplomatic affairs, but it seems he goes above and beyond for his nation. I can't help but wonder from where his aversions to Mr. Sorsley stem. You learned about Exharm Marcial. So yeah, it does seem very important to talk to everybody during every investigation. Actually important gameplay-wise then. In Hyzante, the goddess's teachings determine where you work. Oh, because of course they do. Even at the Ministry of Medicine, you're only allowed to research subjects decided by the goddess. Though I cannot deny the significance of their results. Huh. Could have sworn I saw a thing up here. Yep. Goddess is on our side. Should another war arise, I know she would ensure the Holy State's victory. Huh, so I guess I'll go in here now. I guess I'll go in there now and see what's going on around here. They claim their city is peaceful, but there are soldiers aplenty in the streets and ministry. It really makes one wonder. Yeah, it does. Also, look how good the water looks, especially like a little waterfall bit. I really love the art style in Octopath Traveler, and man, this game is pretty beautiful as well. Gotta saves all who believe in her. We research so that we may aid her to that end. With the capital her. One of the things that I do wonder about games like this, or Ice Amulet, whatever that is. With games like this, or games like Fire Emblem Three Houses, for example, that have, you know, a religion that is, you know, a fictitious one that exists purely in that game world. I do wonder if the reason behind in games like this, the reason why they make the goddess a female rather than male, is to be, you know, different from the typical norm within our own world and its history and such, and to be more how do I phrase it? I don't know how to phrase it. I think that if there is a godlike figure and they do have a gender, I honestly would assume that it would be female as well, but I do wonder if the reason is because of like being more including and different from like the norms and like from our own history and such, or if it's so that people can draw less direct parallels to our own world's history and get less offended. If people feel like stuff like this might be direct arguments to their own religion, you know. That's what I was trying to phrase. I'm sorry that I had such a weird hard time getting that out into words, but that's what I want to express there. Ministry's research helps save lives, and I'm proud to be part of that. Hold on. So, the, Ice Amulet increases ice resistance by 30%. I don't know. Here, you want the Ice Amulet? Bam! There you go. Sure, I guess. I don't know. I'm sure we'll get a whole bunch more as it goes on. Examine. It's locked. The area ahead is off limits. Only those with permission may enter. So as far as you go, only those with the goddess's permission can enter. Researchers are highly respected in Hyzante. Ministry is a symbol of our nation's knowledge and a source of the people's pride. It's our honor to help the sick and injured. The study of life fascinates me so. We may even unlock the secret to immortality someday. Glad I can just go through the water. Oh, sweet, I'll just take their money that they hid in the plant. Researchers immerse themselves in whatever the goddess bids them study. Because of course they do. Devoting our time to those studies is what brings us the greatest joy. This area is off limits. There are more delicate matters being researched up ahead. As such, I'll have to ask you to turn back. It's locked. There is a... Yeah. Okay, cool. The goddess's teachings unite the people. They are what governs this nation. Perhaps there is something to be learned in all this. So I guess we'll go ahead and end the exploration. I best regroup with others.
We got our hands on a fine souvenir thanks to Lady Frederica.
It is quite the feat indeed. Serenoa has terrible taste when it comes to gifts.
Thank you indeed, Frederica.
It was my pleasure.
Should we ask Minister Lila about what ails Lord Simon?
No. Even now, Lord Simon commands great influence. We cannot let others know about his condition.
I understand. Not even our allies can know of our weaknesses, lest they use them against us.
Indeed. We cannot risk exposing ourselves to such danger, for the young lord's sake as well.
What was that?
It appears there is a stir around the ministry.
I shall investigate.